Hello and welcome, TBU fans. My name is JitHex, and with me today, finally for the first time, we got them this time, I promise. It is the one, the only one, Cedar Marvell. Say hello.
Hello, gentlemen and ladies of the TBU. And first of all, it's only been the second week. Give me a break, man.
It's pretty good on the first week to maybe show up to the video. But,
we don't talk about that. Okay.
So, regardless, before we kick into this week, I must remind you to check out the description. Hopefully there will be a playlist, and hopefully all the games have been uploaded by this point, that there will be a playlist. But there's also the links to all the coaches and whatnot in the description. Check out, they're awesome people. Other than that, anything you want to add before we get started?
I usually am the one trying to remind people whenever doing these videos, so I'm just happy that you know how to do this stuff, personally.
Fantastic.
But I'm ready for this week. This week had a multitude of great games that happened. So what are we leading off with, my man?
Let's get started with the Birmingham Spritzy, coached by Alex, up against the Pittsburgh Pyro, coached by Sly.
On the Spritzy side, we have Hydreigon, Steelix, Tapu Koko, Meganium, the Bunny, which is escaping my name, Diggersby, and...
Diggersby.
Yes, thank you very much. And Fortress, while the Pyroar side has Mega Mawile, Volcanion, Tyrantrum, Cryogonal, Vaporeon, and Thunderous Incarnate. 5-0 victory to the Birmingham Spritzies and Onesie Bayonet.
It was kind of an interesting game. Just Sly got a lot of hacks on his side. It's
yes.
kind of really awkward to say this game was like well executed on either side, just because the hacks did have a really amazing factor. Hydreigon did have a really good matchup, but aside from that, like the hacks was really skewed against Sly in this one. He got his Okaberry Steelix in on a Fire Fang pretty freely, and that ended up mattering.
Yeah, it definitely mattered a lot, and also to the point that Sly predicted everything correctly. Every time when a hacks happened, he was predicting correctly, or would have done a significant chunk of damage, like we saw with the Mega Mawile miss on the Fire Fang. If that Okaberry popped in the first place, the Steelix would have a lot less pressure than it did, and picking up his one kill for this week. Also, I do have to give shoutouts to Alex's Meganium. That was amazing to see Sword Stands.
It shot a dragon out of its face.
It did. It did. Devastating Drake did KO Thunderous Incarnate, and it was a sight to see. Definitely, I feel like Steelix was a very big player in this as well, because it provided a lot of defensive momentum that Alex really needed whenever he got a free switch in. And we just saw in the end Hydreigon just doing its thing that Hydreigons usually do.
Yeah, dodging a Fire Fang is really great for your defensive pressure, especially when you're Okaberry and didn't get it popped. But, aside from that, it's kind of awkward to see where this match would have gone. It probably would have been a lot closer if Sly's really on-point predictions took hold, but like it's hard to theory on when hacks happen.
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because there's just so many different factors that could play on the game when things do happen, and unfortunately. So I personally don't have much to say other than Fax is unfortunate. Alex and Slyro did play very well, but unfortunately with Slyro receiving the hacks on his end, it just gave Alex the advantage that he needed.
Great. Let's move on to our second game, which is going to be Kyle of the Harlem Gloomtrotters, with coming off a very dominant Week 1 win, up against Coach RTK of the Portland Timbers, coming off a very unconvincing win full of hacks. But in this match, Kyle is going to get that 5-0 with a huge cleanup from the Mega Lucario. He was basically in control for most of this match. There was also a couple interesting blunders from the side of RTK. He did go for that amazing flame charge.
What am I saying? Yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, that was. I mean, when you're in the middle of team building, you forget the little nuances, but sheer force, that's one of the things you should always remember the secondary effect of. Yes, it boosts the power, but yeah, just RTK, poor RTK.
The belly drum sheer force Darmanitan, not as fantastic as he tried to pull off a pull. It turned out into something a little less savory, of course.
Yeah.
Auroras came for 2 games. Like, there was 2. Auroras has more games than like a lot of Pokemon on Kyle's team. Lucario yeah, he just put Lucario in a position that cleaned up. Pretty straightforward game as far
Easily.
as Kyle's concerned.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a convincing win from Kyle. He had every play that he made was calculated, and he was very assured of himself. He didn't need to Decidueye whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. And like literally, he went in with the strategy like Decidueye is gonna be doing a lot of stuff, but like ended up doing literally nothing because all he needed was Lucario.
Do you have anything else to say about this match? Because I think this is the second dominating match.
Like,
yeah.
Either something happened or like Kyle just had complete control, and like unfortunate for RTK that his plan didn't work, but I don't think it really mattered. He did have Lucario. He had a bunch of stuff that could have.
Yeah, because you gotta think about it. If, like he was saying, even if Lucario went down, even if Sylveon went down, he still had a Landorus Incarnate. He still had a Slowking that that was a calm mindset. And he still had this Decidueye that was still very healthy, and the mons that were left, which were Aerodactyl, Articuno, and Umbreon, that he could have easily played around them.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't see any feasible way Kyle was losing this, regardless of the mishaps on RTK's end.
So yeah, just moral of the story: just make sure you read all the effects of your mons, and when if you need to do something spicy, make sure you have the right ability.
We can move on to our next game. That's going to be this is a very fun game. This is going to be the Meet Mammothswines coached by Coach Jim, Potato Jim, up against Polymac of the West Coast Wingulls, our reigning champion. But you wouldn't get that if you saw this second game. It's very interesting. It's a fun game. Do you want to talk about this game?
Yeah.
I think it's a very
game. Let me just quickly run down the teams. Meath Mammothswines and Potato Jim brought Heracross, Comfey, Type Null, Roserade, Garchomp, and the Victini, while the West Coast Wingulls brought Tyranitar, Mew, Mega Blastoise, Zygarde 10%. I'm trying to be official here. Psydog. Galvantula, and the Golurk. And as Jade Hex has just said, 4-0 victory to the Meath Mammothswine, with the Hex train just rolling on in and stationing at Paul's station and just wreaking havoc on it. Literally, the two hacks. There were only two hacks in this game, but those two hacks legitimately costed Paul the game, being that a crit on the Tyranitar with the Draining Kiss from the Comfey, and I believe it was a Stone Edge miss from same Tyranitar onto the Heracross.
Yeah, he switched in Heracross to the Tyranitar into a Stone Edge that would have killed after Sand, and that's fun. He managed to force out the Tyranitar. And
yeah, but honestly, this is one of those games that there isn't much to say because both sides played phenomenally.
Yeah,
outside
of
those hacks,
amazing. Yeah. Jim's playing both teams made their best plays. Jim's prep was really, really cool. Even though it relied on a four hit or a really high roll 3 hit, the Rock Blast versus the Galvantula lead was really, really cool. It happened to work out. He got those 4 hits, which was roughly about 40%. Like if you factor in the fact that he could have gotten a really high damage 3 roll. But that was a really interesting tech for the Galvantula, knowing his team was really, really sticky, wet, weak, and I just thought that was really cool. Paul unfortunately got hit with the broadside of the barn on that one.
Yeah.
With the hacks, he probably would have swept with Tyranitar very, very convincingly, but unfortunately, Tyranitar was not very lucky today.
No, it was not. But apparently so, as if you saw in the battle from either side, Heracross was gambling those coins away and just hitting every single Mega Horn that it threw out. Also, just a little fun note into Jim's favor, the Type Null did not have HP investment in this game.
Yeah, the Type Null had about 30 HP.
Yeah, so
it still took hits from
8 hits. Dear Lord, Eviolite's such a disgusting item, especially with a base 95 stat all across the board. It really is wrong. Just to put in mention, Roserade didn't hit the field. Garchomp, I think, was semi-fodder.
Garchomp didn't do anything. I think he didn't have it scarfed. I think it was Z-move or something. I'm not too sure exactly what it was. It just died pretty much.
Yeah, and then Victini was also another one that that Jim was like, yeah, if it lives the +2 Earth Power. If it doesn't, I have a free switching into Heracross and just keep on wrecking lives.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is honestly all I have to say about both sides' performance, because it gets quickly to go into Paul. Paul played it. You could see his prediction game. You could see him calculating every single thing and like still considering win cons, even up to the point after the Tyranitar went down. But
Exactly.
again, unfortunately, Jim got just way too lucky with all his Mega Horn hits, all the hacks that Paul received. Yeah, I'm not even gonna sugar that. Yeah, he received the end of that, and
Yeah.
would you consider also the 4-hit Rock Blast to be a little bit hacksy?
It's like it's close enough to 50-50 where it's not like it was like the chance of getting 4 hits was 33%, right? It's
Yeah.
three.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like something like that. But it wasn't as bad as it like say getting a 6% crit on a draining Chris, or missing the Stone Edge on a switch in that, like the only switch in that matters, or hitting literally every move Heracross launched.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
but all right, just wanted to make sure we have that cataloged in the right place.
it was a relatively low chance that he would have killed the Galvantula, but like compared to 50-50, but like it wasn't that bad in the grand scheme of things.
All right.
It just happened to be like on top of everything else, like hilarious at that point.
All right. I think we can safely move on to the next game that we have up on the board, which is
That's going to be the Oakland Raiders, coached by L5, relative newcomer to the Battle Union, also against the sinister Sableye of the Miami Dolphins, baby I. Yeah, so L5 is going to be pulling off a very, very convincing 5-0 here. Lots of misplays on the side of the sinister Sableye and the Dolphinies. He didn't scout the Scarf Latios and just killed his Scarf Jirachi right then and there, like turn 3 or 4, something like that, into 2 Shadow Balls.
Mm-hmm.
There is also, like, he just didn't even scout a Shuka Empoleon with his DD Ments, and he just got Shuka'd and Ice Beamed, and basically everything went well for L5 from that point on.
The thing I do particularly liked from Baby Eye from this week was I guess how the Aromatisse was built. Personally,
Yeah.
for the fact that like it was prepared for the mon that it was supposed to go up against, which was Latios, but just again special defense drop and getting the prediction right from L5's side is just L5 had this momentum game from literally turn 1.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
even
exactly.
deny that. And I'm pretty sure he let Landorus go down for the fact that he wanted just a free switch in.
Yeah, well, basically Landorus was primed. He was trying to sweep with Landorus on the set up on sweep on the Aromatisse, but then the Aromatisse revealed toxic, and then he's like, okay, I'm not sweeping, let's just kill something. And
Yeah.
then
Okay.
died it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But nice to see Sub Mega Shark doing things.
Yeah.
Just ugh.
No, that wasn't this game.
Oh, this was another shark. Whoopsie.
This
Never
is Mega
mind.
Shark.
This is the Mega Shark game. This is not Sub Shark. Never mind. But Mega Shark did a lot of things. I'll call it Mega Shark,
Yeah.
even though it's Mega Sharpedo.
He
But
just cleaned up the game really,
yeah,
really
he
quickly.
really did.
At the end.
Like, let me just look at the rest of the mons. He brought priority this week for Aqua Jet. Rotom Wash was just too slow, and I think Hitmontop was also left in that.
Yeah, he cleaned up. I think Hitmontop was cleared with the combination of Waterfall and Psychic Fangs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Baby I just kind of surrendered at that point. He didn't like try to juggle Intimidates. He just kind of gave up and let Shark sweep the rest of his team.
Yeah.
I think Crunch and Psychic Fangs killed the Hitmontop. Rotom was too low, I think.
Too
And then
low
Crunch
and
just
also
killed that.
just too slow, because
Yeah,
it has base
exactly.
105 speed. And then Salazzle was done in by the Aqua Jet, which I will give props for L5 to taking that risk. If he didn't take that risk, I think it would have been a different game, personally.
I'm not overly too different. I would imagine.
In terms of differential's sake, I would definitely say it will be easily a 3-0 if he didn't stay in.
Yeah.
But I again,
Kept
false.
his foot on the gas. Just
Yeah, we have to cut the foot on the gas
played super offensively.
and also that fake focus sash always is cool to see.
Yeah, we live those worlds.
We live in boys. All right, I think we can safely go on to the next match that's on the board.
This is probably one of the better games of the week. We have the Tennessee Dynamos, coached by Ethan, up against the Houston Toxic Texans, coached by Trev. This game was really fun to watch on both sides.
Yes.
Especially like prep wise, like Ethan had so much prep for speed pass. Like he had like so many countermeasures to speed pass. He had like the focus sash Sneasel. He had like a lot with double priority.
Yeah, he just wanted to ensure that he can beat that. But then we saw, oh boy, that Musharna set was very spicy.
He almost did very dirty things. He almost did very dirty things with that Musharna. Unfortunately, Trev went against his original prep ideas. Didn't have a substitute to reset up with that Musharna. Ended up getting toxic from the Alomomola, and that's kind of where the plan kind of reversed and fell down the hill for Trev, and that's kind of where Ethan picked up the rest of his momentum and ended up getting that game.
But I would say that if it wasn't for the fact that Musharna would have been got toxic, this would have been a game of the week. This is the. I feel like I feel like this game is still a game of the week because of how well both sides play. But jeez, +2 speed, plus already getting plus. I think it was +1 combined, right?
Yeah, it was something like that. It could set up. It got +1 at combined, and then like +3 or 4 speed, something like that.
Jesus.
With stored power and hidden power fire.
Yeah, that would have been rough to handle on Ethan's side. But I love the banded scissor set. It caused a lot of pressure, especially on that Musharna because of U-turns doing ow.
Yeah, exactly. He also had that sash Sneasel. I don't remember when the sash got popped. If it could have stopped the Musharna if it got out. But
the stash did not matter for the fact there were rocks in the field, so he let Sneasel go down at that point because there was just literally no point for it. But with the thing with Anchor, Delmise did a lot of cool things this match as well. Being able to just try and keep the momentum's sake in terms of locking down Scolipede, and even when it up against a Registeel, it unfortunately got a power whip miss, but it still held on its own until it was utterly sacked off for bigger and better things such as the Megalop and the Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen just was another power player this week as well.
Yeah, for sure. I just think this is a really well played, like high level game on both sides. I like unfortunate that like something you couldn't really fix in the game ended up being the bigger issue, which is Musharna's moveset as far as Trev's concerned.
Yeah.
But like as far as like I really liked Ethan's prep, and I think the game was like at the very least it was very fun to watch. Because there's so many moments of like potential back and forth either way. Like if Musharna actually got that, like could have gotten that those boosts off relatively unclean. Like Ethan, that would have been very fun to see.
Yeah.
Ethan tried to work around that.
Yeah, definitely would have been really cool to see. And I think I'm good for this match. I think I've said my fair share of this.
So that will take to our last game, which is going to be the Welshions, coached by the old man and the runner and the founder of the league, the Welsh Coach Frito of the Welshions, up against Coach Cloud of the Jersey Weavels. This game, I think Frito had pretty much all the momentum going into this game until he switched out on the Sharpedo, and then then bad things happened.
Yeah, that little mishap of me saying Subshark. This is the game that happened. Definitely, it was commendable to see the Nasty Plus Thundy come out. Trying to gain that momentum from turn 1 from Cloud Envy. But that was immediately stopped by the Emboar. Yeah, but
Scarab Emboar. He sacked his Skuntank and went right into Scarab Emboar.
Yeah, so he was able to get up his nasty plot, and yeah, even though he was Frito sacked off his Skuntank, he was able to revenge kill that immediately with the Emboar's Flare Blitz. But I don't think it was a fair game up to, like you said, until that point where he switched out on a Sharpedo going for sub, and then speed boost shenanigans and such, and move pool. We forget that Sharpedo has a ridiculous move pool, especially in Gen 7 with Psychic Fangs.
Yep. You don't want to give Sharpedo any. If you give Sharpedo a finger, he will take the entire arm and that's basically how this game ended, very brutally. I don't think Hiram ever touched the field, did he?
No, Hiram did not touch the field. Celesteela said hello and goodbye. Donphan and Wigglytuff did go down, as well as the Thunderous Therian, and just Sharpedo, the show, the movie, the book.
Yep. There was one crit on from the Mega Gardevoir onto the Assault Vest Donphan. It didn't really matter considering how this game ended up, but he also didn't have the gunk shot, so it wasn't that big a deal. He couldn't have killed back from the normal Mega Gardevoir set, but the game other than that was relatively hacksless. He missed a Z Sing. That doesn't really count as anything.
That's just you tried. It was cute.
You tried, like you flipped a coin and then you didn't do anything. But like other than that, Wigglytuff Z Sing was a thing. I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah.
There's 55% chance. We're not calling that hacks. You used Z Sing.
Yeah, you tried. But I don't really have much to say for the fact that it was just straightforward destruction. That's all.
So let's take a look at our next week's games before we head out. Our first matchup is going to be, once again, starting with the Birmingham Spritzies up against the Miami Dolphinis. That's going to be Alex coming off a win this weekend. Baby Eye's going to be coming into this match 0-2. He's basically got to win this match, or else he's basically done for this season for the most part.
Damn.
Starting off 0-3 is brutal in an 8-week season.
But you never know also how other coaches will perform. Even though even if he loses this game,
he definitely can pull. He definitely can pull off a late season run, but like
it's gonna be rough.
Schedule, it's gonna be very hard to see. Maybe I can do if he doesn't win this game here. So
yeah, especially since Alex is on a high note right now with having his win.
Momentum.
Yeah,
he's got the momentum. He's also got the huge momentum team with his Beedrill Coco Core.
Yeah.
As far as the matchup with the Pokes go, it's going to be interesting to see the Mamoswine Salamence up against the huge momentum core from the Spritzy. But other than that, it should be a fun game to watch. That is for sure. I am very expectant on that. Going into our next match, it's going to be the Harlem Gloomtrotters up against the Tennessee Dynamos. Both teams are 2-0 right now, and this game is going to be explosive. This is a divisional match. Most of these games are divisional matches, but this is going to be a huge divisional match between Ethan of the Dynamos and Kyle of the Gloomtrotters. Both teams have been really pretty much on point with their prep this week and their prep this season, and this is the game to watch. If you're going to only watch one game this week, just make sure you watch this one because it's gonna be fantastic.
Most definitely, and I cannot wait for that. And we're gonna follow up for the next week's match, which is the the next match after this, not next week. The Meath Mamoswines versus the Welshians. Correct? Yes, the Welsh Neons. Forgive me. I'm still getting used to to new names and such. And I don't know. I'm really favoring Jim. Really favoring Jim. He looks good this match.
He's 2-0. He's got the momentum. Frito has been making a couple mistakes as he tries to shake off the rust. There's a couple mons that are very scary for Frito to deal with. Probably not the Victini is always threatening. It's a Victini. He has a lot of fire types, so it might not be as big an issue. You never know.
Jim has been having great prep this season so far, so
yeah, his prep's been on point for sure. We'll have to see how that turns out. Again, same with this is a divisional match, so it's pretty big for Frito if he doesn't win this. That it's going to be very interesting to see how it turns out because he's entering the week 0-2. We'll have to see how that turns out from there. So let's go into our next game. We're going to have the Oakland Rose Raiders, which are currently 2-0, up against the Pittsburgh Pirates, which are currently 0-2. It's going to be interesting to see just L5 playing the board. He's playing a lot of these coaches for the first time, and it's very interesting to see him kind of come into his own this season.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know how he plays, and like I do because I know him. But like a lot of people are coming into L5 for the first time, and it's going to be interesting to see how these coaches interact.
Yeah, I am. I am currently very impressed with Elpai's performance, and I cannot wait to see more of it. Slyro, I know he has the potential. I know it's in there. It's just he's had 2 very unlucky weeks.
It is a very trophy season at this point. We all know the potential. We've all seen the season 4 game against Trev, like where he has a lot of potential to do amazing things. We'll just have to see if he brings it this week. Really.
Yeah, you know what I think. I think the reason why he's doing so as of late is because of the fact he doesn't have an Arcanine on his team.
Oh,
for the first time in a while, he hasn't. This is the first, and it's just binding him.
Have that Arcanine.
He just it's because of that Arcanine, and I'm gonna keep on blaming it on that in the weeks to come. If he loses, it's because he doesn't have an Arcanine on his team. But we're gonna keep on going for the next game, which is the Portland Timbers versus the Houston Toxapexons.
Now, both of these teams are going to be coming off that loss. This is going to be another divisional match, so it's going to be pretty big as far as playoff chances are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really have much proof on RTK to pull out this game as far as we're concerned. As far as the games we've seen in TBU, because he had that really hacky game against Cloud that he probably should have lost in the grand scheme of things, and then we also have that game against Kyle, which kind of
just cement, yeah, very much so.
And Trev lost his game against Ethan, and like that was just a really good game. Like you can't really blame Trev too much for his performance.
No, that was a well played game really in general. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's going to be interesting to see how this comes out. If RTK does pull it off, that's going to be a huge boon to him. But I'm betting on Trev. It's very hard not to bet on Trev with how scary his draft is.
I love you, RTK. I love you, but I'm gonna agree. Jade.
Yeah, let's see.
And to make it not less, make it not less awkward, we're going to go to the next one, which is the West Coast Wingles versus the Jersey Weaviles. This is Paul's chance. Yeah.
A divisional game against a team that he's beaten before, a team that he's 6-0'd before.
It's not even that. I'm just hoping that this week there's just no variables, no stray variables that would affect Paul's gameplay at this point. Because he's, like you said, he's our reigning champion at the moment, and we've seen his performance do just great things. And I'm just so sad right now. He's currently leading the season 0-2.
Cloud coming in very unexpectedly, doing pretty well as well. He lost against RTK, but that was basically by no fault of his own. And unfortunately, the game against Frito, he didn't really have much control in that. He just kind of got hand-fed the Sharpedo victory, but it was good prep on his part with the Sharpedo anyway. It's going to be interesting to see how it clashes out, but it's Paul's chance to claim back his season.
Most
it's a divisional game.
Definitely.
It's a divisional game. The entire Lua division is doing very poorly. Cloud, I think, has the only win so far, so he can definitely claw this season back if he wins this game right here.
I can see that. I can really see that, especially knowing Paul's game style, both from PPL, both from this and this league. I wouldn't be surprised if Paul manages to snag a victory. I also wouldn't be surprised if Cloud snags a victory with the way things have been going for Paul. Yeah. But we're just hoping clean games. All we wish for here, clean games.
Yeah, exactly. When we have clean games, we have games like Ethan Trev, and those games are amazing to watch.
Yes. And I think we are good for this week. Week 2, yeah. If you guys did enjoy, please do leave a like and a comment down below. Also, leave your comments for this week's battles. If we did catch anything wrong, coaches, please do yell at us in the comment section. We do love to hear your feedback. And yeah, and also leave your opinions as well, fellow TBU fans. And I've been the Juancito Marvel.
My name is Hex.
And we will see you next time.